The new Hulu series Castle Rock is named for a fictional Maine town that has been the setting for several Stephen King books. In other words, Castle Rock is a place where bad things happen. It debuted this week on Crave TV with new episodes every Wednesday at 10 p.m. Andre Holland plays death row lawyer Henry Deaver in the new Hulu series Castle Rock, named for a fictional town that has been the setting for several Stephen King books. Patrick Harbren, Hulu, TNS King has long peppered his stories with cross-references, and the show borrows that approach, taking place in what Hulu calls the Stephen King multiverse. Those new to King's books, or to their numerous big and small screen adaptations, will not have any trouble following the plot, which starts with the return of a death row lawyer, Henry Deaver, Andre Holland, to Castle Rock, drawn by the discovery of a mysterious prisoner found in the bowels of the local prison. Bill Skarsgård. Here are some King adaptations you can stream at home, each of which is winked at or connected to Castle Rock in some way. Lord of the Flies, 1963. Article continued below. Where to watch, rent on iTunes. King got the name Castle Rock from William Golding's 1954 novel Lord of the Flies. In the book, young boys who have been marooned on an island turn on each other and descend into savagery, and Castle Rock is a natural rock formation on the island used by one of the groups of boys as their base. The novel was brilliantly adapted in 1963 by Peter Brook, and his film remains one of the most chilling depictions of childhood ever made. Carrie, 1976. Where to watch, rented on iTunes. In Castle Rock, Sissy Spacek plays Henry's mother. It is hard to find a more emblematic figure in the Kingverse than Spacek, who played the title role in Carrie, Brian De Palma's adaptation of King's horror novel of the same name, about a bullied teenager who uses her telekinetic power to violently take down the classmates and mother who humiliated her. When the film was released in 1976, it launched King into mainstream consciousness. The Shining, 1980. Where to watch, rented on iTunes. Article continued below. Melanie Lynskey plays Molly Strand in Castle Rock, a realtor who pops pills to quiet the voices in her head. Those voices will remind devoted King readers of Danny Torrance, the psychic child at the center of The Shining. To compound the connection, the Hulu show has Jane Levy playing a local named Jackie Torrance. A third nod comes during the Castle Rock opening credits, which reward slow-motion viewing, which flash the number 217, corresponding to the fateful room in the haunted hotel where the Torrances meet their fate. Cujo, 1983. Where to watch, rented on iTunes. The Castle Rock trailer briefly shows newspaper clippings about a rabid dog, and, to King fans, this can be a reference to only one thing: his novel Cujo, set in Castle Rock, about a gentle street Bernard who turns into a killing machine after he is bitten by a rabid bat. The highlight of the film is an extended, tension-filled scene in which a mother and her young son are trapped in their car by the dog. The Dead Zone, 1983. Where to watch, rented on iTunes. In the fourth episode of Castle Rock, Molly mentions that a serial strangler died in her house. This may well be an allusion to Frank Dodd, the serial Castle Rock Strangler of the Dead Zone, the first novel set in that godforsaken town, published in 1979. The book was memorably adapted 4 years later by David Cronenberg, featuring a somber, haunting performance by Christopher Walken. Stand By Me, 1986. Where to watch, stream it on Amazon or rent it on iTunes. Early on, the Hulu series mentions in passing the body of a boy found by train tracks in 1961, likely a callback to King's novella The Body, filmed in 1986 by Rob Reiner under the title Stand By Me. Transposing the action to Castle Rock, or this tale about a group of kids who go to find that body, featured a cast of 80s heartthrobs, including River Phoenix, Kiefer Sutherland, Will Wheaton and Corey Feldman. It remains one of the most beloved King adaptations ever. Needful Things, 1993. Where to watch, rented on iTunes. One of the biggest, most immediate connections in Castle Rock to King's multiverse is the presence of Alan Pangborn, Scott Glenn, the town's former sheriff who is now shacked up with Spacek's character. Pangborn will be familiar to King fans from his appearances in novels and films, most notably in Needful Things, an adaptation of a key novel in the Castle Rock canon, where he is played by Ed Harris and battles a demonic shop owner played by Max von Sydow. Another connection is the Juniper Hill Asylum, which appears in the Castle Rock trailer and is where the Needful Things character Nettie Cobb spent some time. The Dark Half, 1993, Where to Watch, rented on iTunes. Pangborn pops up again in this adaptation of the titular King novel, and this time he is played by Michael Rooker, who is more famous for portraying men on the other side of law. He plays the title role in Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, and Merle Dixon in The Walking Dead. The story explores what happens when a highbrow writer's pulp writing alter ego, both played by Timothy Hutton, comes to murderous life, and the film was directed by the horror master George A. Romero. The Shawshank Redemption, 1994, Where to Watch, stream it on Netflix or rent it on iTunes. Large portions of Castle Rock are set in Shawshank Prison, where Skarsgård's mystery man is found. The prison is also the site of this popular 1994 drama from Frank Darabont, based on the novella Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, and one of the most high-profile King adaptations. It received Academy Award nominations. It 2017, Where to Watch, buy it on iTunes or YouTube. It looms large over Castle Rock, even if the novel was not set there. It takes place in Derry, one of King's other ill-fated main locales. The Hulu series' first nod to last year's wildly popular film adaptation is casting. Skarsgård plays a possibly supernatural fellow who is found underground, much like his shape-shifting monster clown from It, Pennywise, who was often found in sewers and storm drains. Another casting connection between Castle Rock and it is Chosen Jacobs, who played Mike Hanlon in the film and turns up in the show as a character named Wendell Deaver.